Welcome to the channel, and welcome back to another Midgard Heroic Battles Battle Report, where today the Gauls will be taking on the Romans once again on this battlefield here, this grassy battlefield. We have just two terrain features, a hill to the far side and middle of the battlefield, and then a small wooded forest on the other side of the battlefield. We will be playing a simple battle mission where the objective is to deplete the other side's total reputation points. So the Romans will be on that side, while the Gauls will be on this side. And with that, let's go ahead and take a look at the army lists. And here we have 300 points of Gauls for a total of 8 reputation tokens. We have 3 contingents. Leading this army is my War Chief. He is the Army Commander. He has the Fated traits and I foretell mighty deeds. He is a level 3. His contingent consists of 1 unit of Fanatics. They are heavy infantry with missiles. They have Aura of Dread, Fearsome, and Impetuous. Also with his contingent is a unit of Nobles, heavy infantry with missiles. They have Impetuous and Spears as tribute. Armor 3. Fanatics are Armor 2. And then we have a unit of Tribesmen there in the back. They are heavy infantry with missiles as well. And they simply have Armor 2 and Impetuous. And then lastly, we have a unit of Javelin Men. They are Skirmishers, light infantry. They have Combat 8, Shooting 4. I have changed their armor to have Armor 2 in melee combat, Armor 3 versus ranged attacks, to better represent their lack of armor and shields. And then they have Agile and Evade. And that is the Army Commander's contingent. Next up we have another level 3 leader. He is my war leader. He has Battle Smiter. No, he doesn't. He has With Me, and Today We Fight We Win. And for his contingent, he has a unit of Nobles, Fanatics, and another unit of Javelin Men. And then lastly, my last level 3 leader. He is another war leader. He has Battle Smiter, Proud, and he is mounted on a chariot. He is leading a unit of chariots. They are light riders with chariots. They have Countercharge, Disengage, and Evade. And then he also has a unit of Javelin Men. And lastly, a unit of War Dogs. They are Warrior Hordes. They have Relentless and Impetuous. And that is 300 points of Gauls. On to the Romans. And here is 300 points of Caesarian Romans, with a total of 8 reputation tokens to start. We have 3 contingents, and leading this army is my Army Commander, a level 3 Legate. He has the traits Hold Fast and Inspiring. And he is leading 2 units of Legionnaires. I have replaced their replacements trait with a homebrew trait that I've named Testudo. It gives them armor 4 until that unit loses any points of stamina. So that will give them some better staying power and better represent their defensive capabilities. But besides that, they have Drilled, Spears' Tribute, and Steadfast. And then next we have a Ballista. It is a monstrosity artillery with Aloof, Blast, Fixed, Hell's Breath, Reluctant, and Slow. And then lastly for this contingent we have a unit of Slingers. They are Skirmishers, Shooters, Armor 2-3. They have Agile and Evade. For my next contingent, we have a Centurion on foot. He has the traits, Today we fight to win. He is leading 2 units of Legionnaires as well, and 2 units of Slingers. And lastly, we have my third contingent, a level 2 Centurion mounted. He has the trait With Me, and he is leading 2 units of Germanic Cavalry. They are Heavy Riders, Medium Cavalry. They have the traits Countercharge and Disengage. My Legionnaires, I forgot to mention, they are Heavy Infantry with Missiles. So they have some pilums that they can toss out in the battle. So with that, let's go ahead and deploy and begin the battle. Alright, we have now deployed our forces. The Gauls are the defenders, while the Romans are the attackers. For my Romans, I have my cavalry with my attached hero on the left, facing towards the hill. My center is the army commander with my 2 legionaries, slingers, and ballista in the middle. And on the right flank, my other centurion with the slingers in the front. For the Gauls, she has her chariots, war dogs, and javelin throwers on her left flank. Her army commander also in the center, with the fanatics and tribesmen in the middle, nobles in the back, and javelin men in the front. And for her right flank, javelin men in the front, with her fanatics and noble in the back. We have rolled to see if there's any duels, and the Gauls won that roll and have decided not to duel. So with that, we'll just go right into the battle, starting with attackers' movement phase. Alright, starting with the Romans' movement phase, we're going to start over here with the cavalry, moving straight up the hill, and then going to attempt to move again. That'll do it. Bringing me to the top of the hill's edge. And then for my other cavalry, we're going to do a movement. And then go around the hill. And then moving on to the center. Skirmishers moving forward. We're just gonna double move it to try and get to this hill. Spend a mighty deed to re-roll. Oh, alright. And then we'll try and move the ballista forward. That'll do it. Slingers. Right flank is going to move forward. And that is the end of my movement phase. We go to skirmish fire, which there is no skirmish fire that I can do. So with that, we go to melee combat for the attacker, which there is none, which then brings us back to the defender's movement phase. Alright, starting with the defenders, she's moving her Gauls forward just once.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving the war dogs again. Attempt to make a second movement with the tribesmen. There they pass.
I'm gonna have these guys move to the side.
All right. Passing for their second movement. Fanatics pushing forward.
They're gonna angle a bit.
Make a test. No. You want to spend a mighty deed? Got 2 spear throws.
Sure, we'll go with this guy.
It has to be him.
Him?
That's his contingent.
Okay.
That'll do it.
Like this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then on her right flank, javelin moving forward as well. Make a test. That'll do it. Pushing forward up towards the hill. passing their second movement. Nobles.
Yep. I think that's it for now.
Hero in the back.
Thank you.
Alright. With the end of her movement phase, we now go towards skirmish fire, which we will have this time. These javelinmen are going to fire in to my Germanic cavalry, I assume.
Yes.
Alright. Go ahead and gather the dice, and we will roll. Alright, javelin throwers into my Germanic cavalry. 4 dice, hitting 5s and 6s. Just one. Okay, and that will result in a command test or retreat, which they pass. Alright, and that is the end of the movement phase. We go into defender's attacking phase, which there is none. So with that, we go to shooting phase. Alright, and for the shooting phase, the defenders have nothing to shoot. So it's just the attackers, and the only thing I have to shoot is my ballista here. So, range of 5 spear throws, firing into these tribesmen right here. 6 dice. Just getting 1. And then with Hell's Breath, you need to roll 2d6 and take the lowest.
Okay.
And a 1. So you either spend a mighty deed or fall back.
I'll spend a mighty deed.
Okay, for a reroll. Which will pass. All right. So they will hold there, and then we go to turn 2. All right. Starting with attacker's movement phase, we're going to do the cavalry first. Going to do my movement. We're going to turn, do half movement, and then roll again. For a 1, we'll go ahead and spend a mighty deed to reroll. That'll do it. And we will move up to here. We will hold right there. And then for this cavalry unit, we're just going to go charging in to your javelinmen. Do you want to evade?
Yes.
Okay. Make a command test. 4, that'll pass, and you will get to make a full movement in any direction. Where do you want to go? Backwards?
I'll try.
Okay. So you will go through these guys. We'll have to make a command test and also fall back.
Okay.
That's a 1. That's a fail. You want to re-roll that? You'll take a point of stamina otherwise.
Yeah.
Okay. Spin a mighty D to re-roll. A 2.
No.
Ooh, that's another fail. Okay. So they will fall back. Half a spear throw.
And you said a point of stamina.
Yes.
Okay.
Alright. And then I'm going to charge again, make a second movement to charge in. Passing. And going down the hill. Crash into your javelinmen. And then we'll move on to the center of the board. My slingers. Gonna push forward. Failing their second movement command test. We'll re-roll with the mighty deed. Passing. That'll get us right here. We will shift over like that. My legionaries are going to move up the hill. Pushing forward. These guys moving forward. My ballista is going to stay there. Slingers are move forward. Second command test failing. Spinning a mighty deed. Oh, okay. They'll hold there. These guys are going to move up there. These slingers are going to make a second movement. Also failing. Spin another mighty deed. That'll do it. And we'll only move up half. Just to get within the kill zone. Legionaries over here are going to move forward. And yeah, they'll stay right there. Just to keep in line with my other legionary unit. And then that'll be the end of my movement phase, which we will now go into skirmish fire. Alright, starting with skirmish fire over here, these slingers are going to fire into the tribesmen. 6 dice, getting just 1 hit, and then 1 command test for the tribesmen. Failing. Okay, do you want to spin a mighty deed?
Yes.
Alright, re-rolling. Alright, they hold. And then over here, these guys aren't in the kill zone, so they're going to roll a half dice into the chariots for 2. What's their armor? Are they armor 3?
Yes, armor 3.
Okay, so no damage there, just a command test. Let's say fail. Spin a mighty deed.
Yeah.
Okay. Reroll passes. Alright, and then my last one, these guys firing into the war dogs. This will be 6 dice in the kill zone. For nothing, no hits. Alright, and that ends my skirmish fire. We will now go to combat. And our only combat for the attackers' combat phase are my Germanic cavalry charging into the javelins. So I have 12 dice, 10 for the cavalry, 2 for the leader, and then additional die spinning my last mighty deed for another combat die versus her 8 combat dice. Alright, counting them up. I have 5, re-rolling this 1, nothing. Just 5 for me.
I have 4.
4 for you.
But
okay.
Do I have any support?
Yes, you have 2 support saves for your fanatics behind you.
Okay.
Nothing. And then I also have 2 support saves for being on a hill, which I get 1, bringing that down to 3. Okay, so I'll still take a point of stamina as their armor 3, but you will take a point of stamina, 2 points of stamina for being armor 2 in melee combat, which I believe takes them out.
Yes, their stamina is only 2.
Okay, so they will get wiped out. I'll take a point of stamina, and then you lose 1 reputation.
Yes, for them.
Okay, and then I will gain 2 reputation, 1 for charging with a hero, and 1 for being the first charge of the combat. And then...
Do you need to do risk to hero since he's attached?
Yes. That is... Did 3 damage?
Yes, 3 damage.
Okay. So that'll be 1d6. Okay. Anything but a 1. Alright. He's good. Alright. And with that, we'll go to Defender's movement phase. All right, starting with the Gauls movement phase. Over here on her left flank, moving the javelin throwers forward. Going to do a second move, passing.
Thank you.
They can make a full movement, remember? No? Okay. War dogs going in to my javelins, or my slingers. I'm going to evade. Passing. And, let's see. Yeah, we'll just, how do I want to do this? We're going to move this way. There we go. Oh, okay. Chariot's moving forward. You don't want to move them a second time?
I don't think I can get into combat.
Oh, you'll go into contact with these guys.
Oh, cool. Then I'll do that.
Alright. Oh, that's a 2. Unless you want to spend a mighty deed.
Yes, we'll do it.
Alright. Brings them to 2. That'll pass. And then they'll just go into contact.
Okay, like that?
Yep, they just move in, touching. Alright.
I'm gonna have him go into combat too.
Okay. Charging my slingers. They're gonna evade. That'll get them back here. Chariots going in. All right. Center of the board.
They're gonna turn to the side a bit.
All right. Tribesmen. Charging my slingers.
I guess so. I'm crossing paths, but
Go ahead and push them in. I will evade. Nope. Spending mighty deed. That'll do it. And they are gonna just move over to the hill. Second movement fails. I'll spend a mighty deed. Passing.
just move them into this.
They will go into these guys, unfortunately.
Okay.
Alright. And you guys in the back there?
I'm gonna turn them a little bit. Nope, I'm not.
Turning the fanatics. Second test. After some consideration, her fanatics did a little half turn and then charged forward, trying to get into contact with the Germanic cavalry, but have to charge into my slingers instead. And then we move on to her other movement. Her fanatics over here. Making a second command test to move. Or command test to move again. And charging into these guys, which I'm going to countercharge. Passing. Alright. And then her nobles here. Gonna shift at half movement. And then try and move up a little bit. Passing. They won't be able to get into contact. but they can move up. All right. And then that is the end of the Gauls movement phase. We will now go to skirmish fire. All right, defenders movement phase. There was no shooting for her skirmishers. Nothing's in range. So with that, we went to combat phase. Starting with the war dogs into my slingers. I have 6 dice. She has 8 for the dogs, plus 1 for impetuous. Or yes, okay. All right. That's 2 for me. And 2 for you, re-rolling ones. Nothing. So just 2 for both of us, and then I am in. I think I'm just out of range for support saves. You have 1 support save. Nope. Alright, so that's 2 for the both of us. We both take a point of stamina. And then that combat is a draw. So then we move on to the chariots. Alright, moving on to these chariots, charging into my legionnaires. I have 12 dice, 10 combat, plus 2 for Spears' Tribute. And she has 8, right?
Yes.
Or 10? 8. 8 dice for the chariots, re-rolling 1s for the charge. That is just a 1 for me. Wow. Not good. And then she's got 4.
Yep, 4.
Okay. I do have 3 support saves for my legionnaires and the slingers. Nothing. Alright. And then you got 4, which is enough to do 1 point of damage. And then they will fall back. My slingers will also have to fall back. Passing. They will fall back half a spear throw. I think that's the first time the chariots have won a successful combat. Do you want to pursue?
Yes.
All right. They will pursue the legionnaires, and then we move on to the next combat. All right. Next combat is over here. These legionnaires versus the tribesmen. They are charging. They get 10 dice plus 1 for impetuous. I have 10 dice plus 2 for Spears' Tribute. That's a better roll than last time. I got 6 hits.
Ooh.
You got 4. No ones to reroll.
Nope.
Okay, and then I got 2d6 support saves. Getting rid of 2.
Do I have 1 at least with these guys?
No, you're not within half spear throw range.
Oh, okay.
So no support saves for the tribesmen. Since I brought it down to 2 hits, I won't take any stamina point damage, while you take 1, 2, 3 with armor 2.
I think you wiped me out.
They have stamina 3.
Oh no, stamina 4.
Okay, they have 4 stamina, and then you'll have to retreat, and if you fail this, they will be destroyed.
Okay.
Just 1 die. 2, that fails. You do have 1 mighty deed left, which you saved. That was a good move.
Whew.
And a 3 will pass. Alright, so they will stay, but they will fall back. Have a spear throw. And I will not pursue. Alright, and then we'll move on to this mess over here on the hill. Alright, starting over here with these fanatics fighting my slingers. I have 6 dice. She has 11, 10 plus her impetuous roll. Ooh, I got 4. And then she's re-rolling her 1s. Nope, just 5, which will be mine. I don't get any support saves because of Aura of Dread. And then, so you have armor too, right? So you'll take 2 points of stamina damage.
I think I get 1 support save.
Oh yeah, you get 2d6 support saves for these guys.
Okay.
Which you get 1. Alright, so you'll just take 1 point of stamina damage. And then I take 2, which will wipe them out. As I will lose 1 reputation for these guys. Alright, and then we'll move on to these fanatics. Alright, 10 combat dice for the fanatics, plus 1 for impetuous. And then 10 dice for my cavalry, plus 2 for the hero attached. Both of us will be re-rolling 1s. I have 1 run. Nothing. Total of 4 hits for me. And 5 for her again. Okay. No support saves for me. You have 2d6 support saves for you. Actually, no, I don't think you do. I think it only applies to 1 unit. Let me go ahead and double check the rules. Alright, it doesn't say that they're limited to 1 per unit. So she's going to go ahead and roll those support saves. 2d6. Nothing. Alright. So you'll take 2 points of stamina, bringing them to 3. They already had 1. And then I'm armor 3, so I'll take 1 point of stamina and fall back. That's 5 hits. That is 2d6 risk to heroes for 1 point of damage to him. And he will fall back. Alright, moving on to shooting phase, starting with the defenders. We have these tribesmen firing into these guys.
Yes.
Alright, they're at half strength, so they'll be rolling 3 dice. For 2 hits. Not enough to do damage, but we'll see if they fall back. No. Alright, and then 1 guy from this chariot hero. 1 die, which hits. The command test, which I pass. Alright, and that's it for defenders. Moving on to the attackers. These guys here are going to fire into your hero. And that is 3 hits. So that'll do 1 damage, right?
Yep, 1 damage for 3 hits.
Alright, so he's down to 1 health. And then we have 6 shots from my ballista into these javelin men. For nothing. Alright, and then 5 shots from these guys into your tribesmen. For 1 hit. 1 command test. Passing. And then 5 dice from my other legionaries into the same tribesman. For 2 hits. Which will bring them to stamina 3. Leaving them on 1 left. And then that is it for my defensive shooting, or my offensive shooting. And we will now go to turn 3. Alright, starting with my movement phase, we're going to do my Germanic Cavalry, which are just going to go and charge into the Fanatics. And then moving on, my Legionaries here, they're going to turn. And then charge. That'll be a fail. We'll spend Mighty Deed to reroll, passing, and they will go charging in. And then moving on to these guys, they are just going to go charging in. And then continuing on over here, my slingers, they're going to move to the right. Moving again. No. Not going to spend any Mighty Deeds to reroll. So we'll just go to here. We're going to turn my legionaries. Roll to charge. Alright, so they're going to charge into your hero. You can make a command test to try to evade it. Do you want to? Alright. A 1 will fail. Unless you want to re-roll it. With a Mighty Deed. Okay.
I'll do one more.
No! Oh, that's unfortunate. Alright, and then I'll get a reputation token for charging in for 2 of my heroes. Bring me to 11. Do you want to counter charge?
Yeah.
Roll a command test. That'll pass. Actually, I don't know if you can counter charge. We'll double check that. But moving on, that is it for my movement phase. We'll now go to skirmish fire. Alright, so into my movement phase, I don't have any skirmish fire that's in range. So we move on to combat phase, starting over here with my slingers into these war dogs. I'm at half strength, so I'll be rolling 3 dice versus her 8 for 1 hit. And multiple for her, no support saves, so she will win that combat and wipe out that unit, dealing another point of reputation down to me, bringing me back down to 10. And then we will move on to these legionaries versus the chariot hero. Alright, this combat here, I have 12 dice with my legionaries, plus 2 for tribute, and then another 3 for this centurion. And then she has a total of 3 dice. You can spend Mighty Deeds to add additional dice. Do you want to do that?
We'll do 1.
Just 1? Okay. Rerolling 1s. And that is 6 for me. You do get 2 support saves. For 1, bringing me to 5. Just 5 hits versus your 2. Note the 2 does not do any damage to me. 5 to you. Armor 3. So you'll take another point of stamina damage, which will take him out. Losing how much reputation?
4 reputation.
4 reputation. Bringing you down to 3. 3 reputation left for the Gauls as they suffer a mighty blow. And then we will move on to this combat right here. Alright, and over here, my legionaries have 10 dice. They don't get Spirit's Tribute anymore, versus her 8 dice. That is 5 hits for me.
1 for me.
1 for you. And then I get 3 support saves for the slingers and these guys over here. Canceling out that 1. And then no support saves for you, so you'll take
1.
armor 3. Yep, so you'll take 1 point of damage. And then fall back, half a spear throw. And I will pursue. Give me a winning marker, and then we'll move on over here. Alright, over here in the center of the battlefield, these legionaries have 10 dice, +2 for Spears as tribute, and +3 for the commander attached, versus her 5 combat dice for being a half strength. That is just 2. This was a tied combat, right?
I think so.
Okay, so just 2 for me, and then 1 for you. You have 1 support save with the javelins. No. Alright, so you'll take 1 point of stamina, wiping them out. Losing how much reputation for the tribesmen? 2?
Yep.
Bringing you to 1 reputation remaining. And then we will move on to the fanatics. Alright, and for these legionaries, we have 10 dice, +2 for Spears as tribute, rerolling 1s, versus her 10 dice for the fanatics. And I will get no support saves for being on the hill because of Aura of Dread. 3 1s. Nothing. So I got a total of 5 hits versus 4. And then you get 2 d6 plus support saves for 2. Alright, that'll bring me down to 3 hits. 4 against 4. That'll do 1 point of stamina to me. 1 to you, and you win the combat. So I will fall back, have a spear throw, and you will pursue, I think. I think you have to. So, and then we'll move on to the next combat. Alright, and the last combat for the attackers, starting with my, or ending with my Germanic cavalry. Both of them charge into the fanatics. This will be my primary unit. So these guys will be half for 5 dice, and then 10 dice for these guys, plus an additional 2 from the leader. Versus her 5. So. And that is a boatload of hits for the cavalry. 3 for you, plus 2d6 support saves. Taking away 2 of mine for a total of 7, which is still enough to wipe out the fanatics, bringing your reputation down by 3, reducing you to 0, and that will break the Gauls' army and give the Romans a victory. So that the Romans take the field and the hill, while the Gauls retreat. And that will be the end of the game. Thanks for watching, guys.